Hello third form, so this is our second remote lesson. So just to remind you what we're doing, we're going through a revision program before we have our end of term test, and we're now on to revision lesson 2 where we're going to be revising quadratic graphs. So we did this back in February, and I wonder if you remember the significance of this ripple effect. This is because a lot of the values in the table sort of repeat. There's symmetry, so we'll be looking out for the symmetry. So before we actually started the quadratic graphs, we just reminded ourselves of how the various types of graph look. So linear graphs, straight line graphs, were when we just had x's and y's and numbers, whereas the quadratic graphs, what we're looking at today, are where we've got some x squareds involved. Now if it's a positive x squared, like I think all the questions are we're doing today, you get this sort of smiley face graph, and if it happened to be a negative x squared, then you would get a sad face graph. So here's our first example, and you can see that it's going to be a smiley face graph because we've got a positive x squared. We've got a positive x squared. So what we have to do, because at the starting point, so back, let's just go back to this one for a second, because we haven't got any numbers repeating as the y values, we can't yet be looking for the symmetry. So we are going to have to work some of these out. So what I'm going to do first of all is work out when x equals 0. So I'm going to take when x is 0. So x is 0, I'm going to take the 0 and I'm going to pop it into the equation. So when x is 0, I've got to do x squared, so that's 0 squared, which is 0. Then I'm adding a 0, and then I'm taking away 3. So that gives me y equaling minus 3. So I've just worked out when x is 0, y equals minus 3. When x is 0, y equals minus 3. Now that's good news because I've suddenly got this minus 3 repeating. So I can really just imagine a pebble being thrown into a still pond there, and we're going to have the ripple effect. So the first ripple is that minus 3 ripples across to that minus 3. So without actually needing to work it out, this minus 1 will ripple across, creating another minus 1 here, and similarly the 3 will ripple across and create a 3 here. So of course I could work any of these out. If I did minus 3 squared and then I added a minus 3 and then a minus 3, I would indeed get plus 3. And same over here. If I pop 1 into this, I get 1 squared, which is 1. 1 and 1 is 2. 2 take away 3 is minus 1. So all of these values can be worked out. But if you can just spot the symmetry and look out for this ripple effect, it just makes things quicker and easier. Now I think for now, and just like we did in the lesson, we'll leave part C out. So when I've plotted these points, I get this nice smiley face, and just make sure you just do it by freehand. Don't go and join all these points up by a ruler. It's not supposed to be lots of jagged lines. So example number 2. So obviously I've got the symmetry straight away here, so I can do the ripple from minus 1 to minus 1. And that will create the ripple. So I've done the minus 1 to the minus 1, and then the 2 takes me round to giving me a 2 here, and this 7 takes me round to the 7 here. So the only one I actually have to work out is this middle value here when x is 2. So let's substitute 2 into the formula. So 2 squared is 4. We're taking away 4 lots of 2, which is 8, so we're taking away 8, then we're adding 2. So 4, take away 8, add 2, gives me minus 2. So I plot all these points, so I've plotted minus 1, 7, 0, 2, 1, minus 1, etc. to give me these points, and again I've just drawn it by freehand. Now that's the end of the examples. So all the questions now are in the attached PDF document. So there's a worksheet that I've attached to on Show My Homework. So if you can run off these questions. If you don't have the ability to to run them off. Just see if you can complete the tables on a piece of paper and don't worry about drawing the curves. So pause the video while you have a go at this question. Now we don't have any symmetry to start with here, so we're going to have to start by working out some values. I think it's very wise to start off by doing the positive values because they're a lot easier to deal with than the negative values. So I'm going to start off by working out y when x is 2. So I pop 2 into here. 2 2s are 4. 4 take away 3 is 1. So I know that this value is 1. And that establishes some symmetry. That establishes symmetry. That 1 goes round to that 1 there. So therefore, I don't need to work this one out here. I can see that that must be minus 2 from that symmetry as I do the inside ripple from that ripple. Now that does leave me having to work out this one here. Well, 3 3s are 9. 9 take away 3 is 6. And then I plotted the points, minus 2, 1, minus 1, minus 2, etc. to get this gentle curve. So question 2, so pause the video and try it for yourself. Now we've got symmetry straight away, haven't we? That 6 goes round to that 6. So let's just start off by putting that 6 in. Therefore, doing the inner ripple, that 2 goes to that 2, and the inner ripple, that 0 goes to that 0. So the only one we need to work out is when x is 3. And 3 squared is 9, 9 add 3 is 12, and then I just plot the points. Now do make sure you don't give your curve a flat bottom, it's not a vase, so always make sure it's just a nice gentle curve. Question 3. Well, we do have the symmetry, the 10 to the 10, but we're obviously going to have to work out some of the others to then do the inner ripples. So as I've said before, it makes sense, I think, to do the positive numbers, but they're all positive here, so it doesn't really matter. So why don't we just start off by doing when x equals 1. So substituting 1 into the formula. 1 squared is 1, take away 6 lots of 1 is taking away 6, then adding 10. So 1 take away 6, add 10 is 5. So when x is 1, y is 5. Now, because we've got that blue ripple already, we can do this inner red ripple, so that must be 5. Now let's go and work it out for when x is 2. So 2 2s are 4, take away 6 lots of 2, which is 12, add on the 10, we get y being 2. And again, because of the symmetry, we can do this green ripple, that is also a 2. That just leaves us to do this middle value when x is 3. So 3 squared is 9, take away 6 lots of 3, which is 18, add the 10, we get plus 1. So question 4, so pause the video while you attempt it. So we've got quite a bit of symmetry here, haven't we? We can go from the 3 to the 3 to create the opening ripple. And therefore this inner green ripple is minus 1 to minus 1. And then the inner blue ripple is minus 3 to minus 3. So the only value we actually need to work out is when x is minus 2. Now you've got to be ever so careful when you do a minus value. Minus 2 squared means minus 2 times minus 2, which is plus 4. Now you've got to be ever so careful if you're using your calculator to do this, because if you put minus 2 squared into your calculator, you will get minus 4, because the calculator is following BIDMAS and doesn't appreciate that you're doing minus 2. So if you are going to use the calculator, you've got to do what's called protecting the minus. You've got to make sure you put the minus 2 into a bracket before you square. So minus 2 squared is plus 4, minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6, and then we're taking away the 1 on the end. So 4 plus 6, take away 1 is 9. Now as you're drawing your graph, always make sure the values look sensible. Say you've gone and worked out when you did minus 2 something down here. That can't be right. You knew it had to be up here somewhere. So if you're not getting what looks like a nice gentle curve, go back and check your workings. Now finally, question 5. So there's no symmetry to start with, so I would suggest you start off by doing either the 2 or the 3. So I've started off by doing the 3. So when we pop 3 into the formula, we get 3 squared is 9, take away 3 lots of 3, which is taking away 9, then adding on 1 to give us plus 1. So that gives me the opening red ripple. So I can do an inner ripple after that to go from -1 to -1, the blue ripple, and then an outer ripple, the green ripple, going from the 5 to the 5. So having worked out that initial value, I didn't need to work out any more. Now again, we're just going to leave the part C's for now. So work your way through the worksheet that I've attached. What would be really good is if some of you would start just photocopying, taking a photo of 1 or 2 of your answers and then sending it through to me either on Show My Homework or by an email, and then I'll just give you a bit of a shout out on the next video. Now one other thing, I think Hegarty Maths is now starting to work, because it had been a bit overwhelmed, but I think they've sorted it out now. So if you're looking to do any other work, just do any of the Hegarty Maths topics that you like, and I think going forward some of my videos are going to start incorporating the Hegarty Maths, so I can actually double check that you're actually doing the work. So take care, and I'll do the next video soon.